Erev Tov Rabotai. I want to tell you about the laws of tefillah a little bit. It says in the Shulchan Aruch that a person, who's praying Amidah, you're not allowed to walk in front of him, pass by him, in his front. Right? What's the reason for that? The poskim, they say, most of the poskim, Rishonim, Achronim, they say because it disturbs his kavanah. He can't concentrate when people are walking in front, going back and forth, like Grand Central Station, has no peace over there, right? No peace of mind. So this is the reason why, according to the poskim, it's not allowed. But the Zohar Kadosh doesn't say like that. It says something else. It says there that the reason is because when a person prays Amidah in a certain place, that place becomes sanctified, mekudash. So you're not allowed to go into that area. It's sanctified. Like Moshe Rabbeinu, right? Hashem told him, take off your shoes, right? This is sanctified area. You're not allowed to walk here with your shoes. Sanctified. Also, when the Torah was given on Har Sinai, Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu, don't let them come up here on the mountain, because it's sanctified now. They're not allowed to come up here. That's the same thing, when a person does Amidah in a certain place, that place is sanctified. This is the reason why you're not allowed to go in there. How far did it go, right? That's the question. So the truth is, according to Halacha, in front it's 4 amot. Right, what is 4 amot? 6 feet, 2 meters. Right? 6 feet, 2 meters. So that's like a 6 foot, like a tall guy. Right? That's about the size. So, but if it's beyond that, if it's further than that, you're allowed to pass by. So, what about in his back or in the side? So there, it says Shulchan Aruch, you're allowed to pass by. There's no prohibition. Prohibition is only in the front. Why? Because when you pass by in the back or on the side, he doesn't really feel it so much. It's not really, he doesn't see you so good. So it doesn't really bother him so much, number one, right? And number two also, right, it's not the main focus of his prayer, it's in front is the main thing, where your face is, panim. Panim el panim. So this is the reason why you're not allowed to pass by. But as we said, right, in the back or on the side, it's okay. So we learn from here also another important rule, which is that a person, shouldn't pray in the aisle, in the synagogue. People are passing by there, so he's causing them to sin. So don't pray in the aisle. People are going in, coming out all the time. Find yourself a nice corner, whatever, right? Somewhere next to the wall or whatever it is, and pray over there. Or you have makam kavua, right? Like this, kavua. He has makam kavua. That's his place, he sits there every day. So that's good. Nobody passes in front of him. But in the aisle, people are always passing by, So don't bother people by praying in the aisle.
The problem is why people go sometimes outside. They need to do 3 steps before and after prayer. So sometimes it's not enough room.
That's also true, of course, yeah. Sometimes there's not enough room to step back. All kinds of problems, So, if a person is clever, he shouldn't do that, Not a very good thing to do.
Use your common sense.
Yeah, use common sense. Don't bother people also. Don't make people, life difficult for people. Standing over there in front of everybody. Everybody has to pass by you, It's not pleasant like that. That's the thing, So a person has to have a little common sense, as you said. And not do things like this. Especially, right, if a person prays long. Right? Some people, they pray long. One time, my friend asked me, he said, Maran, how much was his Amidah? How long did he play Amidah? Maran. Right?
1 hour.
So, 1 hour. So, I told him, I said, you want to know, really? 5 minutes, maximum 5 minutes. That's it. He didn't pray so long. Normal, like everybody else. On Shabbat, what about Shabbat, he asked me. I said, in Shabbat, 3 minutes he prayed. Amidah. That's it. 3 minutes. Finished. You know what I mean?
Don't lie to people.
But when you pray,
Don't lie to
you're
people.
kind of connecting
They confused.
to Hashem. So
Right,
what's the reason to go fast, to go,
Not so many people.
bubble fast and then sometimes.
How long do they do over here?
2-3 minutes is also take.
Amidah. Not on Shabbat. I'm talking about Yom Chol. How much? 4 or 5 minutes, right? 4 or 5 minutes. That's it.
Some people,
So he did like everybody else.
some people finish like I'm in the middle somewhere. They already see it.
Right. Some people are quick, whatever. But the point is, that I never saw the Gedolim, the big Chachamim, that they prayed long time. Never saw this anywhere. They all prayed normal, everybody. 5 minutes, that's it. Shabbat, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Maximum. That's it. So, but if a person, is one of those people who likes to pray long, there are people like this, right? They do a long Amidah, 10 minutes, go. Long, yeah. So, Chacham Ben Zion, Chacham Ben Zion.
We'll always wait for you.
Yeah, everybody's waiting for me, exactly. If it wasn't for me, you'd do 4 minutes. I force you to do 5 minutes. Oh, you know what I mean? In my younger days, I used to do like 7-8 minutes, when I was younger. And then I stopped doing this. And I'll tell you why I stopped. But,
Why you stop with it?
because I saw all the big Chachamim, they don't do like this. And also they said, the big Chachamim, they said, not good to pray so long like
So
that.
when you was young, you think it's okay, 7 minutes, 10 minutes.
Right, I was a kid, when you're a kid, you think, you think everything is, you think everything is like twisted, curved, crooked.
You change your mind.
When you get older, you get smarter, that's what it is. That's the way it is. The Chokhmah is not found with the young rabbis. It's found with the old rabbis. You understand? The young ones, they still don't know so good. They don't understand so good. You know what I mean? He has to have some gray hair, If he's got all black hair, if his hair is all black, this is not, he's too young.
Rabbi, they do the right thing.
It's called
Businessman, okay. So anyway, right, as we said, Chacham Ben Zion used to say, okay, Mechila, Rabbatai, we're talking a little bit too much.
We got the time.
We have to move a little bit, we have to start to move.
Today,
Right?
that's no problem.
Rosh Hashanah is coming up soon, we have to move. We don't have much time. So let's move on. Right? Because also, what happens is when everybody talks a lot, I forget, like what I'm talking about. I lose my concentration, It's not so good, to talk too much. A little bit is okay, a little bit. 1 question, 2 questions, maximum 3 questions. That's it, right? More than that, you're being a nudnik, right? Right, Yonatan? You're being a nudnik when you bother the rabbi too much. It's not good, You're not allowed to do that. Okay. Okay. So as we said, right? Chacham Ben Zion Rabbi Shaul, Rabbi Ben Zion Rabbi Shaul. By the way, Chacham Ben Zion, he was Parsi, He was Parsi. His family, Parsi. So, anyway, Chacham Ben Zion used to say, a person who prays long like that, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, he should go next to the wall, he said, So no, it's not going to bother anybody. When you're going next to the wall, nobody's going to pass in front of you. This is the way to do it if you want to pray long. You want to be, Hasid, it's the right. I'll tell you an interesting thing. One of the boys, their name is Aulov. He used to read over here. Remember, to be Balkore, Aulov, right? So there's 2 brothers, and one of them is called Yosef. So one time he asked me, he said they're Kohanim, they're like you. So. 2 brothers, exactly, yeah. So, Aulov. So he asked me, he said one time, now he went to study in yeshiva, became a yeshiva boy. Oh, Mazal Tov, Baruch Hashem. He's a good boy. Anyway, so, he asked me, he said, Rabbi, he says, can I pray like this, First I say in Hebrew, and then I think in English, so I concentrate in English, so it takes longer. It's you have to say and then think. Like this, right? He asked me, can I do like this? Is it allowed to do like this? So the truth is, I was laughing inside when he told me this. You know why? Because when I was young, I used to do it like that. He has the same mind as me, He has the same kind of thing there. So I told him, I said, you know what I told him? I said, You could do it, but it said it's not really necessary, to do. You shouldn't think that, it's like, the Gedolim used to say, I heard the Gedolim. Who did I hear? Rabbi Yitzchak Yosef, chief rabbi, Rishon LeZion. He told us, Maran only did 4 or 5 minutes. Why are you doing, 7, 8 minutes? He said, you don't need to go so long. That's what he told us, really. Same thing, Rav Mutzafi, Rav Mutzafi is a Mekubar, a big Kabbalist. So, he told us the same thing. He says, well, it's not good, he says that people are praying too long like this, 8, 9, 10 minutes, too much. That's what he said. It's not asur. Don't get me wrong, this is not a sin, Chas v'shalom, I'm not saying that. But it's just practically, not so good. Because what happens is then you're missing the Kedusha, you're not going to catch the Kedusha. You're not going to get the Chazat HaShat so good.
People are going to need to wait.
I'm sorry?
I'm saying maybe people are going to need to wait for this.
Right, but that's a good question, right? That's the thing,
Like you.
He's asking a good question, Do we have to wait for the people, or not? That's the question. So the truth is, one time, this guy, right, the Levi, he's a tough one, right? He's a tough cookie, this guy, right? So one time, so he's a tough cookie. So, what do you call it? One time, he got mad, mad at me, So, why? I was Chazan, so I was Chazan, and I didn't wait for him, I did the Kaddish, I finished. I didn't wait for him. So he came to me at the end, and he said, I says, what's with you? He says, we wait for you, why don't you wait for me? Oh. So I didn't want to tell him the answer, because, maybe I thought it would be gava, to say this, But the truth is that the halacha says you're supposed to wait for the rabbi, not for everybody. You know what I mean? For the rabbi, you're supposed to wait. This is the kavod, of the Torah, wait for him so he can do the kedusha and everything. We're not supposed to wait for everybody, the whole tzibur. It's not like that. You know what I mean? That's not really the way.
You got me late, you start late. Why should we wait for you?
Exactly, you're right, 100%. You're right, 100%. I'll tell you a funny story about this,
Again.
There's a funny story. They say, that the Arizal, al-Shalom, he used to pray at the shul of Maran Bet Yosef. That's where he used to go. He was Ashkenazi from his father's side, but he liked to pray the Sephardi shul, because he knew it was better. He knew that it was better. The Sephardi nusach was better. He said,
His father said it was funny, huh?
Yeah, but it goes by the father. It goes by the father. So anyway, his name was Ashkenazi, right? Luria Ashkenazi. You can't get any more Ashkenazi than that, right? His name is Ashkenazi. So what happened was, right, that one time they say, incredible story, the Arizal had Ruach HaKodesh. He was very kadosh, So what happened was that one time, they always, Maran, right, Maran Bet Yosef, if he would pray a little bit long, they would wait for him, he's a rabbi, If that's not a rabbi, who's a rabbi?
Big man.
Maran Bet Yosef, He wrote the whole Shulchan Aruch, Bet Yosef, he wrote everything, right? Until this day we learn this, for halacha, until this day, right? So, one time, he was praying long, and they were waiting for him, And so the Arizal was there, So he told them, he told the Chazan, he said, start, don't wait for him. I like this, So they got, they were shocked, when he said that, he's our rabbi, you have to wait for him. Excuse me, what are you talking about? So he told them, he explained to them, he had Ruach HaKodesh. So he says, you have to wait for him when he's praying. But he says, he's not praying right now. He says, he's learning Torah. He's doing some kabanot on Torah. He says, he's not praying anymore. So he said, go start now. He knew already what was in his head, That's what it was, So it also depends on what the rabbi is doing, If the rabbi is daydreaming, you don't have to wait for him, Only if he's praying. That's something else, right? You have to know what's what.
How you know you pray or you not pray?
Only the Arizal knows. How do we know? We don't know nothing. What do we know? What do we know? Sometimes you can tell, You can tell, Person is like spacing out, Outer space, You can tell. So Chacham Ben Zion used to say like that, That if you pray long, go to the wall. So by the way, this is a very good thing. You know why? Exactly. It's also true. It's a very good thing, to do this. You know why? For another reason also. Because it says in the Zohar Kadosh that when a person prays, he should be in front of the wall. This is the best way, He should be, yeah. According to Shulchan Aruch, it's like a suggestion, Mitzvah min hamuchar. It's the best way to do it.
Pray
But
against
according
the
to
wall?
Zohar, you have to be in front of the wall. You know, it's a must. You know what I mean?
You know why? Why?
Why? Because the wall has some kind of a spiritual quality, you know, that makes the prayer go up.
You mean the wall?
Yeah, the kier, yeah.
You don't
yeah.
need window, you mean the wall?
Window is something else. The Bet Knesset, Baruch Hashem here, you know, I don't know who did this over here, but we have Baruch Hashem a lot of windows over here, which is very good.
10 windows.
Who made these? Who made these windows?
Rabbi.
Rabbi made? Oh, tzaddik. Tzaddik, he made his windows. I can't believe it. Most people don't do this, you know.
If it's fire, you can't escape.
Right. True. Yeah. So anyway, right, a Bet Knesset, you know, according to Halakha, is supposed to have 12 windows. That's what it is, you know. So 12. There you go. So there you go. So why do I tell you this, right? Because the rabbi made you know, like this, right, the windows and everything. But the truth is, you know, there should be windows in the shul. It says in the halakha like this, you know. But when you're praying, you have to be in front of the wall. You know what I mean? The window is also like a wall because it's closed. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's also similar. You know, whatever. But you don't have to be in front of a window. You have to be in front of a wall. This is a must, you know, according to Zohar Kadosh. According to Shulchan Aruch, it's mitzvah min abuchar. What does that mean? It's the best way to do the mitzvah, you know? To face the wall. So, you know, as I told you guys already, right, the proper direction over here in the shul is like this, right? 45 degrees here. So anyway, if you're facing this way, you're facing the wall anyway, so it's good, right?
What about that way?
This way, you're going to Los Angeles, right? You're praying to Los Angeles.
Next to the wall.
Los Angeles, Yirah Kodesh. You know the holy city, Los Angeles.
Wait. You're starting to go that way, right? So you're going to pray for that way? Or you stay
No, this is Los Angeles. No good, right?
No good.
Says the Kadosh, when you pray to the west, this is the west, right? This is the east. When you pray to the west, says the Kadosh, that's Sitra Achra, it's Satan. You're praying to Satan. You know, like something like that, right? No good, right? No, it's nothing. So you gotta go this way. Los Angeles, that's Sitra Achra, it's true. That's exactly the point. Nothing like it. Okay, whatever, right? So you get the idea. So that's the way it is, you know, when it comes to prayers. Okay, Praise Hashem, we'll stop here, we'll continue tomorrow. ברוך אדוני לעולם, אמן ואמן. רבי חנין וכשאומר רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לעשות ישראל, לפיכך חיבר להם תורה ומצוות שאני מאוד חפץ, למען צדקו יגדיר תורה וידיר.